a video one
Go
night.
ahead,
Mics
Walmart.
and shit, if it's like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you did,
Yeah, come in.
I just turned the light on. Letting you guys know.
Just sit down, man. Go for it.
oh yeah. I'm so used to
Oh,
hearing
there's
my
another
intro
camera.
played
Yeah,
and it
you
just
already
is
know.
on there.
Yeah.
What's good, people? Your host, Henny here, man. Welcome to another episode of Top Shelf Radio. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Fortunately, we having a little bit of technical difficulties tonight, so we might not have any music for y'all, but I've got a whole bunch of dope artists in the building, and so they're more than willing to give y'all some acapella stuff if we're not able to get that worked out. Hopefully, it's just a matter of time. We waiting on Eddie. Eddie is living it up in Las Vegas right now, and that is why we can't get a hold of that man. And I understand, because if I was in Vegas, you probably wouldn't be able to get a hold of me either. I understand, but you know the show must go on. Dope organization in the building, man. Auburn Hip Hop Congress, and we're gonna get into talking to them in just a second. Definitely got to shout out my sponsors, man. Shout out to Connected Clothing. Big ups to them. And I just got off the phone with Adam, and he saw that I had went out to the juvenile hall, which I'll talk to you all about in a minute. But definitely supported. Could share that feeling with me. You know what I'm saying? Knew how good it feels just to talk to kids and anybody that's in the system that's going through it. You know what I mean? So definitely big up to them and all they do. Shout out to Rags. Shout out to Tactical Patience. Shout out to my homeboy Carlos Barnaby, who keeps the flyers looking nice every week. See Barnaby Media if you need photo shoot book, you need some graphics for your album or flyer or whatever it is. Holla at that man, he gonna take care of you. Also shout out to VSOP Attire. You know what I mean? Keep me looking fresh. And then also we got a new sponsor. Breaking Green is our newest sponsor. He'll be joining the team shortly, and we just had him out here. He was on the last episode, so he decided to join the team. So definitely thankful for that. Wasn't here last week. Hopefully y'all had a good 4th of July. I actually went out to Arizona to go and spend the 4th with my son because he spends summers with his mom, and she invited me out there this year to come and pick him up for the day, and we got to go spend the 4th of July together, and my daughter's first 4th of July too, so it was important that we was all together for the first holiday, and it was dope. Something real dope happened while we was out there though. Me and my baby mama have been through a lot, and we still don't really communicate. We don't get along. We send text messages here and there, and I was led to believe that it was gonna be like that to the end of time. You know what I'm saying? Till my son was 18, and then even then, she really wasn't gonna have no reason to talk to me, so it was gonna continue that way. But I guess it was a blessing in disguise. My son was in the car. We was riding around on the 4th of July, and he had to fart. And so he let it rip, and he rolled down the window. And so on the window is this like for my daughter, it's like this little sticker thing that kind of helps block the sunlight. And so when he went to go roll down the window fell off track. And so here we are in hot ass Arizona with a window that don't work. And so it kind of put a damper on the day for a second, but we made the best of it, and so that's something we definitely had to get fixed before we got up out of there. And so the following day, we had to find us a window repair shop. Well, my son's mom's husband just happens to own a repair shop, and my pride kind of made it to where I didn't really want to reach out to him and ask him, you know what I mean, but my son was like, I got one, Dad, talk to him, he'll hook you up and all that, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't looking for no handout, and like I said, I really didn't want to reach out, but, the prices that some of these other places were quoting me was a little outrageous. So I reached out to him. He got me a couple $100 discount and opened a door that ain't been opened before. You know, when they came to pick him up, it was like, you know, being that we went out there for the 4th of July, her and her husband are going to come out here for Halloween and take Jeffrey trick-or-treating for the day. So in that conversation, they said, you know, we should all sit down and have lunch. Now, it may seem small to y'all, but my son has never in his life seen me, my wife, his mom, and her husband sit down in the same building, have a peaceful conversation, and this will be the first time that he'll ever be able to see that. And if that goes good, then we all might take him trick-or-treating together. So I just want to say that, you know, it feels good. I mean, I had kind of pushed it to the back of my mind that it wasn't going to happen, but to know that he'll at least be able to experience that before he's grown is a wonderful feeling. So that was it's definitely a dope trip from that aspect. So yeah, you gotta you know, bad situation with your baby mama, you feel like it ain't never gonna get no better. Just know that even in the worst of situations, it can improve, it can get better. Sometimes it just takes time. Yeah, so really dope trip. What else, man? I got a new job. I work at Pizza Rock downtown. You know what I'm saying? I'm off work for the summer from UC Davis. You know, they lay us off because there's not as many students. So, you know, I've been kind of sitting around hanging out with my daughter, but I need a little bit of income because it's not fun being broke. And so I went and applied, and I didn't even apply. I saw him, it's the homie, and he was online. He was like, who wants the job? And I was like, I'll take a job. And he was like, you're hired. And it just happened that fast. And I mean, yeah, so I start tomorrow. About to be tearing up some pizzas. You know, they got some gourmet shit going on in there. So, yeah, that's definitely a blessing right there. What else is going on, man? Definitely need y'all to tune in to every other radio show on the network. Katie McGee Connected Radio every Monday night from 6 to 8 p.m. DJ Nocturnal, Twiddle Dope Radio every Wednesday night from 6 to 8. And then X Radio with Desidees, New to Truth, and Rico the Great Wednesday nights from 8:30 to 10:30. And I believe, you know, the family will be getting bigger in time, you know what I'm saying? But that is who we rocking with right now, and everybody on the network puts on a dope show. So if you support my show, please tune in with them and support their shows as well. Shows coming up, man. I got a show that I'm putting on with California Live. It's called The Scene. We put on one last month, the day after the show, last Top Shelf Radio, and it was cool. Hopefully this one will be better. But I got 2 free tickets if you want to come out to that. The number you can call in on is 916-826-5895. You can win free tickets to that show. Also got Calio, his album, Charlotte Presents California Zone. And I got a CD from my homeboy Saul, Distress Signals. Dope ass album right here. You can win all of that. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is call 916-826-5895. You hit that number and it's yours. They belong to you. So yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. Just want to shout out a couple other clothing lines just real quick. Shout out to Sacktown Famous. Shout out to Fuck Authority. Shout out to Selfish, American Cream, Hustlers with Dollars. Shout out to any other clothing line out there that's doing anything, or anybody else in the community that's doing something. I salute you. I support you. Which, gotta speak on something real briefly, real quick before I get into this interview. Yesterday, I got into a conversation with somebody, and they told me that I don't support the scene. I don't know if any of y'all seen that post, but give y'all a little bit more details on the situation just so you know exactly how it went. I ain't gonna put nobody on blast because, you know, I ain't gotta do all that. But basically, it was a conversation with an individual, and they had asked me to come out to their show. So I was like, you know, I'll come out if I can. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my best to get out there, you know. And it was like, okay, well, yeah, you know. I was like, are you coming out to my show? You know, let's make sure it's a mutual support. And it was like, okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna come out there. It was like, okay. I was like, I'm gonna do my best. It was like, okay. Even if you can't come out, please still purchase a ticket, donate to the cause. You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, I'm not really gonna do that. I don't really. I mean, I got 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not balling. I can't just purchase tickets. You find me a fan that just buys tickets to shows that they don't go to, and I'm gonna tell you to hang on to them for life. But I ain't never really heard of no stuff like that to where people just buy tickets to a show that they're not coming to. I wouldn't want you to. If you want to buy a ticket to my show and you're not gonna come just for support, I salute you. I appreciate you, but I wouldn't expect you to. And so I said no, and the person got mad and was like, see, that's what's wrong with the scene right now. OGs don't show no support to the younger up-and-comers, you know what I'm saying? Y'all not showing won't.
Hen, you're an artist too, right?
Hello?
So, you a chef, right? You a chef during the daytime. So, when you get off work, right, do people expect you to cook for them and accuse you of not supporting? Like, this one thing.
That don't live in my household.
Yeah, like artists need to understand that if you're targeting your marketing to other artists, you've lost.
Right.
Your audience is supposed to be people who can't do what you do.
Right, definitely.
So if you're worried about other artists supporting you by going to your shows, you're looking in the wrong direction. There's all kinds of ways an artist might be able to support you that a regular fan might not.
Yeah.
But you can't necessarily expect them to basically do what they do for their job on your behalf.
I mean, on top of the fact that I've had this person on the Cali Boys radio show, and the interview was a little sour because of whatever circumstances, and so I invited them back on the Top Shelf radio show to compensate for that interview, give them another interview just so they felt good about that interview. I don't know what that is if that's not support right there.
Some people just feel entitled, you know what I'm saying?
You know, and so, you know, I kept it, you know, general and just put it out there and just wanted to see how people that I deal with felt about that. Do you feel like I don't need any confirmation from anybody. I know what I do, but it just was comical.
A dude that you had on your radio show twice said you don't support him as an artist.
I didn't say it was a dude.
Oh, a person, a human being that you had on the show twice.
Individual, yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't worried about it. You know, show goes on. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. So. Figure that shit out, y'all. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say, man, about that.
Hey, it was refreshing to see all the comments, though, man. That thread took off.
Right. I didn't even expect all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, but they made a lot of good, valid points. I mean, a lot of people was just like, "Are you on drugs?" And it was like stuff on there. But I mean, it just goes to show that, you know, that what I do is recognized, and it just felt good to see that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So my first part of the day was spent in Auburn with Rocky and Natalie here of the Auburn Hip Hop Congress. Got to go out to the juvenile hall and talk to some youth, and man, I knew it was gonna be just a dope experience. But just knowing, just thinking about what it could be compared to what it was, there's no comparison. Like, just to reach out and you know, especially like the kid that connected with me, you know what I'm saying, about, you know, my pops, you know, being incarcerated. He come from a broken home, and so it's just, you know, indescribable feeling to be able to put a little bit of motivation in them. I don't know if it was motivating. I don't know, you know, how many of them are actually going to reach out, but just the fact that they seemed interested and it seemed like something that they enjoyed makes me feel good. So definitely appreciate y'all for including me in that, man. And definitely want to be.
It was an honor to have you out.
The writers workshop too that you was talking about, you know, and come out and be a part of that.
Definitely, man.
But yeah, but with that being said, I don't know if you can see, but the Auburn Hip Hop Congress is in the building.
What's good?
You know what I'm saying? We deep in here, and this ain't even. This is like a hundredth. This is like a small percentage of what the group looks like, because there's all kind of different, you know, people that are just affiliated and different people that they've connected with. So it's definitely an honor to have y'all in the building.
Likewise, man.
Definitely long overdue.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Yeah, I know, you know, you hit me up, you know. I mean,
Hey, we're all the way out there in Auburn, right?
yeah, you know, I mean, but
That's where.
Know that y'all been on my list. I mean, and Jordan's been trying to get in here for the longest. We just, we got schedules, we got, families and all that good stuff. But it happened. Y'all here, you know what I'm saying? Good to have y'all here. Good to see faces I recognize and some new faces in here. And I'm definitely eager to let my people hear about your movement and everything. So bring this microphone over here. Let's just talk about the beginning. Let's start from the beginning.
Oh man, that's good. We got a nice little crew here to help with this too. But what's up, y'all? My name's Rocky Zapata. I'm with one of the founders of Auburn Hip Hop Congress. My beautiful wife Natalie right here. She's the co-founder of Auburn Hip Hop Congress. For those of you that don't know, Hip Hop Congress is a national nonprofit with chapters all across the country. At one point, we had chapters in other countries, and the reach is just really, it's a span that it really reaches. A lot of our chapters are on college campuses. Ours is a community chapter, which means that we do work in the community. We're community builders, and we're not limited within the campus to events and things like that. We really branch out. And all that to say, Auburn Hip Hop Congress started about 8 years ago, a little over 8 years ago. And a lot of that was due to, it's hard to know where to start, but a lot of it was Sacramento support. If I could turn it to Natalie in a minute, a lot of it was having a purpose from the beginning, finding programs that actually reach young people that can make a difference in settings like juvenile justice. And us coming together in 2009 when me and her really got together and started doing this also, happens to be our anniversary. Things were magical from the beginning, We've been really blessed. First of all, I want to give a shout out to all the different artists that have been a part of our foundation, including yourself and Mike Jordan here, who from the beginning have seen something and valued it enough to come support, to come help us build the scene that we've created, and that these guys get to, all benefit from, and that we all build on together.
I remember Whiskey Wilds. Whiskey Wilds is where I first connected with y'all. That was a long time ago. And had no idea what kind of organization I had encountered just because that was open mics, you know what I'm saying? But it took, really connecting with y'all to see, a lot more of what was going on. So
that was a Lawnmower Man spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was bring back memories right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we were introduced. What is the purpose of your organization? The main purpose?
Oh man, that one's tough because it's really grown. I mean, just going back to our roots, what you guys were just speaking on, those old days, early Valencia days. Early on, we were just, we got introduced to Hip Hop Congress, and we were stoked, man. We come from Auburn. I grew up on hip hop, but we didn't have a scene out there of any sort. I freestyled in the basement with a lot of cats, and but there was never actual like a venue or a platform. And the ones that tried, it kind of seemed like it, the town was quick to shut them down.
Yeah.
So we weren't like sure yet when we came out to Sacramento to some conferences. There's Hip Hop Awareness Conference. Went up to Seattle for the conference as well through Hip Hop Congress, and
so Hip Hop Congress is an organization that existed before you guys developed the Auburn Hip Hop Congress.
It's a national nonprofit. They've been around since '98. Or they've been established since '98. It started on two separate college campuses, two different ideas, but with a lot of similarities, a lot of threads that connected them. And eventually, they both started building, and over time, the leaders of those two groups connected. And it was kind of the beginning of a nonprofit and a new movement. And we got introduced to that in about, Natalie before myself, but in about 2009, I really got introduced to that. And I was coming from a background that was really all I ever knew was the streets, getting locked up, just getting into a lot of shit. Excuse me.
Fuck shit, all that. Nothing on the
show.
That's
all right. I just had to check on the first one.
Say what you please.
But I was in a different life, in a different place, and coming out to Sacramento and watching like Mike Jordan perform and Akil from J5, and a whole group of people on educators, visual, dance, all of that together. I'd never been immersed in the culture before like that. I've always loved hip hop. It's always resonated with me, I've taken good and bad from it, right. But it's a part of me. And when I came out to Sacramento, and we came out to Sacramento, it was just an amazing experience that I think we wanted to bring back to Auburn. But it wasn't until the Sacramento Hip Hop Awareness Festival that we went out with 7 carfuls of volunteers to go volunteer at this event in Sacramento that we realized, like, we needed to bring something to our community. There was enough interest and enough support to really do something with, you know?
Yeah.
And that was around the time we started making that shift and branching some programs out to Auburn. And more than programs at the time, it was all about events. It was all about just bringing the culture, bringing hip hop, connecting what hip hop existed in Auburn that I knew about, that we knew about, with what we knew was in Sacramento, what was alive and vibrant and inspiring the hell out of us, you know. And it's been a beautiful process because we made a lot of connections and relationships that are, you know, in my opinion, lifelong. And even if it doesn't get where we are now in our organization and everything, even if it doesn't get shouted out often enough or in our roots, like, we know that Sacramento is our foundation and our roots in a lot of ways, especially musically and supportive wise, you know.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have been able to start in '09 without that kind of heavy hitters on the board, you know.
Oh yeah. What is the first event that y'all actually threw?
You know, is that the Valencia Club? Or actually, let's take it back. We did, no.
Well, not the Sacramento, but like Auburn.
So in Auburn, okay, so let me bring it back a little bit, because Natalie and maybe Natalie needs to take over so I don't get anything wrong. But before I even got into this picture, Natalie was working through the peer court, and she was hired through the peer court to help with community service hours for kids that got court cases and got referred to community service time. And if you know Natalie, she doesn't accept the idea of a troubled kid or the idea of punishment without purpose, you know. And she did a lot of research, from what I understand, and really found, you know, different programs that were working in different areas. And one of them that she came across was Hip Hop Congress. And she started doing some digging around, and through some networks and through some connections, I believe Brew Lee. Random Abilities, and formerly Rasar.
Rasar the Jelly.
Yeah.
Or just Rasar.
Shout out to both of them, though. You know, these are our roots, though. Like, early on, Natalie was trying to make our community a better place. You know, from when she was a young person, she was developing programs around community service before she even got into peer court. That's why she got hired. It's because she saw the value in giving kids opportunities, teaching them skills, teaching them service as something more than a punishment, teaching them it as a way of community building, a way of connecting. And I don't want to speak to it too much, but she had a lot of success with her camp that was called Make a Difference Camp, which we'll get into another talk a little later about Growing Peace Camp. But, you know, it's kind of the evolution in a way. We naturally found a home in another camp that's just like the one she created 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
So the first event was Kelly Summer Kickoff.
Oh, that was a dope event. Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'm not a radio personality.
I'm barely one. I just make it legit.
So as Rocky was saying, I was working at Peer Court. I was also working through Parks and Rec and their Friday Night Live Club, trying to, you know, just provide positive leisure time activities for kids. And the fairgrounds came to us and they're like, we want to give you the fairgrounds for 3 days and have the kids plan a little event. And so they had amusement park rides and everything. And we had 3 days of music. We had a rock and a hip hop and then kind of country. That was a hard day for me.
Hey, Tom.
But anyway, so I was connected to Hip Hop Congress in Sacramento, Bruley, through going around to different things Random Abilities was doing, going to different poetry slams and things. And I met Hip Hop Congress, I met Brew, and he pretty much pulled all the Sacramento artists. And Mike Jordan was there, Tribal Levi. Was it Neighborhood Watch? Neighborhood Watch at the time.
TPR was there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that event because we were all really excited about it, and it wasn't the most heavily attended event, but I think it made a big impression. Everybody there was really engaged, and the next year was big.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
everybody obviously was like, but you know, our first time as Sacramento artists going out there, we could see the excitement in the community, and we could see the potential, and we could see the investment, and it just felt right. You know, it didn't even feel like we were giving anything or whatever. It was just, it was just a scene that we wanted to be a part of. And so the excitement and seeing where you guys have come to in all those years, and seeing the development of artists like ODAT, like like Nelson, like dudes that make me feel good. When it was very organic. I think that's one thing that one of the beautiful things about this. It wasn't corporate at all. It wasn't like, let's network and let's do this, let's do that. It was just people naturally coming together. Like, I remember the first night that I met Rocky very, very clearly, because we freestyled for like 4 hours.
And I wasn't no freestyle in juvie though.
Yeah, exactly.
They were asking for written.
Yeah. And I wasn't looking at Rocky like, oh, this dude's gonna become like a massive community organizer and he's gonna do all this stuff for the kids. Rocky was fresh out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were just rapping. You know what I mean? So to see the way all of this has come together just so beautifully is very inspiring. And I can't give them enough props. Not just Rocky and Natalie, but everybody involved in Auburn Hip Hop Congress, because the kids, we're all adults here. The younger people who were in many instances kids when they started, when they got involved, but they built it themselves.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I actually met you at that event.
Yep.
You remember that?
Yep, I do remember that. Yep, I met a few of you guys then.
It's a long time ago.
So we keep with the story just a little. I will say that I wasn't even a part of Kelly Summer Kickoff. That was Natalie and Brew coming to bring in a scene as well. And I heard about it. I wanted to be a part of it, but I was still too stuck in my life. I was caught in addiction. I was caught in the streets and in and out and stuff. And I just remember wanting to be on that stage so bad, and I freestyled back then. But when you're freestyling, you're hella young, you're hella fresh, and you just want to get on the stage. You don't even know what's gonna happen. You never held a mic before. That's where I was. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that brought me and Natalie together. Really, is we were friends and acquaintances early, but that last time I had gotten out and we connected really immediately after. It was like the stars aligned.
Love in the air.
Hey, it was, but it was so much more too, No, actually, I won't even say that. I ain't gonna discredit or discount love whatsoever, because it's been a driving force in my life and saved me for some things. But Kelly Summer Kickoff was pre Auburn Hip Hop Congress. It was really pre Hip Hop Congress because Natalie put that together with the help of some friends. And like Mike had just got done saying, it wasn't the most heavily attended event, but it had ripples. I felt it. And at the same time, it's hard to throw something that huge and invest that much of yourself and not have a lot of people show up also, and I think that was what I walked into when we were going out to Sacramento with Natalie, and that really, we were bringing a lot of volunteers and a lot of interest and support out to Sacramento, but I don't think she was quite ready yet to think that Auburn was ready, and it took a little bit of us coming out to Sacramento and being really involved with the scene out here to feel like we had something that we needed to bring back to Auburn. And when that happened, I'll speak to our first event in Auburn as Hip Hop Congress. It was called the What is Hip Hop Forum. And because we're going into Little Auburn, we know what we're walking into. When we got a business to let us hold a meeting there where, on a Thursday night, 70 people showed up just to hear us talk about it, about what we were going to do and what our plans and intentions were. And that's the day that we decided for sure we had everything we needed to move forward, and it's going to be a ride, and we don't know where it's going to take us, but I remember that day clearly because that set the stage for Auburn Hip Hop Congress to become something. We could have came out and no one showed up, and we would have been like, okay, we'll just keep going to SAC then. You know what I mean? But instead, that came about, and we had a date on the calendar shortly after that. We started working with the Valencia, one of the first venues that opened up to hip hop in our area, which is hilarious because it's really a country bar. You know what I mean? And maybe not anymore. Shout out to Valencia. But but at one point it was only known as a country bar, and they let us in. So, us, we thought, yeah, we're going to throw all these shows, but we didn't even know that this was a business too. So we went on like a year just throwing shows and making things happen and building up a scene, and the environment and the energy was just so organic and raw, like he was saying. It's like nobody was there to get anything out of other people other than what we were there to do. You know what I mean? And it really felt like felt like we were creating a scene in a place that had been suppressed for a really long time.
And it got to the point where things were reversed, because I remember some of those Valencia Club days where I would walk in with my whole crew and see like 20 other dudes from Sacramento. You know, like it got to the point where Sacramento was going out to Auburn because that's where it was popping.
And every show I've ever been to that y'all have thrown has had that type of vibe, just the love, and there ain't nobody, you know, grilling nobody. Like it's just everybody's up in front of the stage. Like it's just genuine support for everybody. So.
And I really feel that, you know, like it's a blessing in Auburn to grow up where there's any scene. And honestly, like I speak of a scene now, but we need to get some shows going. And these guys are doing it though. These guys are working on projects. They're the future. They're the present. They've been a part of this organization for long enough to take the reins on certain things. And I'm just hoping we start seeing some more shows in Auburn again.
That'd be nice. I'll be there.
And don't think that Auburn Hip Hop Congress ain't about it. We're gonna bring as much out as we can. We've gotten really busy with a lot of our other work. Our programs have kind of dictated the direction we've gone. The young people in our group have dictated the direction we've gone. So, you know, we're not throwing as many shows as we were, of course. Before it was like every weekend. And now we're lucky to get one every few months. So just know that more shows are in the works. We're talking to a few artists that we want to get back out that I think will really help set it back off and get a venue going.
Okay, let's talk about these other things that you guys have been doing in the meantime. All the different workshops and assemblies that you guys put on.
And I don't want to be the whole talk of this, so I'm gonna find a way to transition a little bit. You know, I will set it up though a little for you guys. You know, 2009 we were bringing out artists from Sacramento to teach workshops weekly, and it got to the point where we're bringing 2 a week, 2 different workshops, and I mean, you got cats like Odapt and Recluse and Expression and all of them that were at and Nelson that were at every workshop early on, and there was. And then DJJ got introduced. Same with ODAP. You know, it was a progression. We all didn't start together. And maybe I should have said that too. We actually started in our living room with our workshops, with the graffiti workshop with Nick Salsa. Now that I think about it.
On cardboard on our porch.
On some cardboard on our porch. You know.
Like, we need a venue.
That's dope though. I mean, you gotta start somewhere.
And it started off with about 5 young people that were interested in hip hop that went to a Chuck D concert or speaking engagement with Natalie, and they came back with this excitement that was so raw. We were like, oh, these shows are cool, but you guys want to start a youth chapter? You know, we want to get some shows for the youth. We want to get some things going, and there was some excitement there. So we threw a couple workshops, and what we came to find out is that they were all MCs. they just they either hadn't like put it out there yet, or they were still writing some poetry in a notebook or something, you know. But when it came time to share some writing, like they all had stuff, and it really cemented some of the connection we were all establishing at the time, and it gave us a lot of direction for our group, which is why you see us so MC heavy, is because we developed our workshop around the group that we had early on. And that naturally grew so quickly out of our living room that we had 15 kids by the 3rd time or something like that. And we knew that it was only going to grow. So through connections that Natalie had working through the community, we were able to get into the park, start weekly workshops through Urban Arts, through a program we called Urban Arts. And that's when we brought all the different teachers out to start teaching young artists that were inspired or interested or hungry, you know. Oh, yeah. Butterscotch is one of the teachers.
Can she come back?
Yeah, yeah.
Natalie, if we're name dropping, I'll just start the list right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Let them know.
you know, for real though. You know, all the early ones: Scourge, Mike Jordan. You know, there are so many. I don't want to leave anybody out.
Yeah.
Chase
Yeah, Chase won a Hip Hop Olympics.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
And the beauty was, you know, early on, we were building a scene too. We had this excitement going on in the adult community through all the shows we were doing. And then we had this new energy emerging where young people are getting together every week to do something, you know, positive, constructive, and like that we're actually interested in. You know what I mean? And when these worlds started to come together, that's really the Hip Hop Congress that you see today with us. You know what I mean? Like, early on, it was this idea to immerse the community in culture and opportunities that young people didn't have when we were growing up, you know. And then that naturally, like I said, it kept dictating our direction. And we had artists like Mike Jordan come in that, you know, we realized are natural teachers, you know. And we had not only not only that, and I don't want to go name shy, but there are so many teachers that came in a period of a year that taught these guys a little portion of what they knew and gave them the confidence and the connections in the world to feel like they were part of something, and because of that, Auburn was accepted and welcomed, I feel like, and I appreciate that because that really opened the doors for a lot of our young artists to come out and get on shows, to come out and network and collaborate and stuff. But the beauty of the programs with the workshops is that, well, one, eventually we were funding all this by ourselves originally, myself and Natalie, and anybody that can get on board and that we could pull on board believed in it, and we just supported it. We exhausted every dollar we had to make what we believed was worth it happen. And eventually we realized that we needed to figure out a way for funding, and certain places were requiring us to have space to be able to get funding, and we didn't want to charge the kids. And to this day, we're the same way. We don't like to charge the kids. You know what I mean? So what we started doing is reaching out for all kinds of different funding and support and breaks wherever we could get them. And, it really started off grassroots. And today, I'm proud to say it's more of a business. And not even like it's all business, but it's more of business type, But our early workshops really set the stage for young artists to, one, start feeling confident to put themselves out there, to start getting all the natural benefits you get, putting yourself out there on the mic, putting yourself up there on stage and working towards something, Yeah. And then it seemed like it happened overnight, but at this point in time, we have a lot of those same young faces that were in the room then. They're young adults now, and they're teaching a lot of our workshops. They're some of the mentors to the young artists that are coming up now, coming in middle school, coming in high school, and young adults. And not only that, but even in the music scene in Auburn, a lot of these guys have established themselves so well that other artists are trying to reach out and trying to, get on that and see what helped them get where they are. And it's just, it's really an each one teach one platform. And I'm going to turn it over probably to ODAP next, but it's because he's one of the young MCs early on that became, honestly, one of our best workshop teachers now, and he not only had a natural gift and a passion for hip hop, but with a lot of those experiences that he got from performing and stuff, I see where he's taking it. And I just want to turn it over to him with a big up first, and maybe get a few words about what it was like the early days, and then moving up to now. Did you ever see yourself here? And then what are some of the things you're doing through Hip Hop Congress and through your artistry?
Oh man, this could take like an hour.
Condensed version.
Right, condensed version. I'll give you the summary. I guess I'll take it from the top. I grew up in Auburn most of my life, and I fell in love with hip hop around middle school. Definitely in high school. Got a little hardcore to it, but there wasn't that much support. I couldn't find that many people who knew who MF Doom were, who knew who Jay Dilla was. A lot of these artists that I loved, I couldn't find anybody who knew who they were, pretty much. And a lot of people didn't. Actually, this guy right here, I remember like over MySpace Messenger sending like they were probably like 9-bar verses to each other, not knowing how to set it up. Me, you, and YG.
Yeah, that's right.
And we were literally sending text message verses to each other to be like, because we were the only 3 MCs, or we didn't call ourselves MCs back then, but rappers that we knew in our high school pretty much. And I'm sure there was a lot of closet rappers, there always is, but yeah, like I don't know. I just kept writing. I loved hip hop, loved everything about it. I wanted to get more involved, and that didn't really happen until I think it was 2009 or maybe 2010. When I started getting involved, yeah, because I was working a bunch. After I got out of high school, I was working a bunch, and I was actually working 2 jobs to save up for studio equipment, and because I was so passionate about it. And I was working so much, I couldn't make it to the workshops. I met this guy downtown, and he told me about a show that was going on with J. Ross and some other people, and told me about the workshops, and I was like, man, that sucks, I can't make it. But what do you know, something happened with my work. I ended up quitting in like the next 2 weeks, and then from that point on, I was at every single one of the workshops at the ARD Park. And I showed up one day, and it was just like he was saying, there was all kinds of different teachers every single. I think the first one I went to was actually Shasta, I think, teaching breakdancing. Yeah, that was crazy. I was really bad at it. I was about to ask if you get down. I mean, I could say I got down, but
That's all that
yeah, it is what it is. But like I said, I'm a b-boy. But yeah, that was cool. And then next week I showed up, and I think there was I don't care, I can name drop all day, I don't give a damn. Andrew Defy was there doing a microphone, don't cuff the mic workshop. And then he came out with these shirts like a year later, but it was legitimate. He had files, he had papers that he handed out to us, and it showed us like the science behind like why you don't cuff the mic, like literally had a diagram, like it was crazy, but it made sense. And ever since that day, I've never cuffed a mic.
Hey, he's on you too.
He's on you. That's for sure. But you're on yourself. It makes a difference when you realize that. But besides from that, there was like all kinds of workshops, and from like writing to performing to not cuffing the mic to breakdancing, and I got the most for living in Auburn. That was the most surrounded by hip hop I had ever been in my life, and I loved it because that's what I loved at the moment, and I still do. But like, I wish I could be more involved with like everything at the moment, but you know, life goes, catches up.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I've grown a lot since those workshops, and that's how I got my first show at Soul Collective. Did a show there. Next show I did was actually at the Roseville Main Street Brewery when I met you for the first time.
Main Street Brewery?
Yeah, the Main Street Brewery. It's not called that anymore.
Yeah,
it's in down Old Town Roseville.
Okay.
It's all Bar 101 now. That's right.
Okay, yeah.
But you're actually like the first cat, like, and I've been to a lot of shows now, and not a lot of MCs come up to you and just be like, "What's up, man? My name's Hen," and you came right up to me and showed me love right off the bat. So fuck whoever that was saying that you don't support Steve.
Say that then. That's right.
Straight up.
Yeah, no, you part of this is my family right here, man. So anybody affiliated with them, look at you the same way. So I mean, and that was a dope show right there. I remember.
Yeah, man, that's good times there. But yeah, it's been a long road. Yeah, and now it's gotten to the point when in the recent years I felt confident enough to feel like, you know what, I focus on my craft. Like, I take it seriously when I write. You know, I don't want to be whack. I want to make sure I show my skills, but also be true to myself and also get through to someone with some emotion, hopefully. You know, that's the goal in the long run for me. And once I felt confident in that, I felt like I should like if there's other artists who are inspired to be, you know, an MC. I'm not the best. I don't say I speak wisdom, but I can teach you what I think works. Yeah. That kind of thing, and that's kind of where the workshops, you know, turned out to be. And I've done a few of them now. I don't know how many I haven't counted, but
don't let him get modest here. He's an incredible teacher that can get young people to write, be inspired, introduced. You introduce so many kids to hip hop that come to us later on. I just say a couple words. You know, when you were working at the Boys and Girls Club too and became assistant director, getting a chance to like work with so many groups of kids, a new leadership showed up, and I think part of it was like hand in hand with the performance and the confidence, but also, you know, working with young people is its own world of its own.
Right.
You know, but that really shows up in every workshop that you teach now, because you have an awareness that a lot of teachers, especially artist teachers, which we love, we bring so many artist teachers in. But a lot of artist teachers don't come in fully knowing that you treat it like a performance. You know, every kid, every youngster gets eye contact.
Right.
Everybody in the room feels a part of the conversation. Questions are asked. You know what I mean? So many things that you do naturally show that you have the leadership as a teacher, the gift as a teacher, and it really makes you shine in a lot of ways. And because of that, you know, I'm grateful to have you on the show, because we've gotten to do quite a bit together. And I know that a lot of what we've done together as a crew, as an organization, like the music video we did, the collaborative one.
Yeah. You
know, you implement a lot of the things we learned back then into the workshops that we do today with our writing class. You know, when you did the recording workshop, they all stepped up in a way they had never stepped up before, and that speaks volume about any teacher. You know.
Yeah, man. Well, I just want to give back what I've learned. You know, that's exactly what it is, and I'm happy doing it. And plus, like, you don't realize how much it helps you sharpen your skills until you try to teach it to somebody else. It makes you realize how much you're not on top of your game in certain areas.
Go sit and try to teach somebody something if you feel like
I'm not a salesman. I can't do that.
You think you have it until you start trying to explain it.
Right.
You're like, oh man, maybe I don't have as much of him.
Yeah, definitely.
So true.
Oh yeah. Can I ask you to spit something, Dap? We ain't got no music tonight, so
damn.
Would you mind?
I'll spit something.
We've been talking for a little while, you know. I just want to give my people just a little bit of, you know, musical insight of the group and all that.
Okay. Yeah, I can spit something.
Yeah, please do.
All right.
Get it.
Let's give it a shot. We're just rolling a cappella, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I've got that loyalty and that dedication. For my peeps, you're the motivation and the reason why I ain't staying station. One step at a time, see how far I take it. My head full of aggravation, that steam to the situation. Sick of staring at a blank page, I paint my walls with inspiration. It is what you make it. From the bottom up, I'ma take it all back to basics, a realist, face it. So when I see something I want, I'm on to chase it. Don't play games, I grab the reins and I ride it out to the brighter day. Talk is cheap, what you trying to say? For that bullshit, I ain't got the time of day. Be real with me, I'm real with you. There's an angel I see in you. Step in my world like the view. I got a head full of things that we could do, and I ain't trying to rush nothing. Just noticed you really something. I was sitting at home laid back in my zone. Now I'm glad that I came to the function. That's crazy how life could turn. Had a few bridges that had to be burned. Had a few lessons that had to be learned. Never look back, never return. Spending so many days feeling so worthless. Telling myself that it all would be worth it. In the end, cause they say nothing is perfect. Now I know that shit is true as my word is.
Say that then. Go on. That was dope.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Hella dope. Yeah, good stuff, man.
Blessed to be here, man.
And transitioning a little too, Nina taught a workshop. I remember you reminded me of a bunch of workshops from Urban Arts Day, and that just reminded me. One of our friends, Nina, taught a workshop one time on event planning, and something magical was born that day. I think I'm going to turn it over to Nelson, see if he can kind of help us remember a little.
Want to do the switch?
Well, whatever.
Do you remember Nina's?
I don't remember it that much. I remember like butterscotches, Shastas, Scourges, Pierres.
Okay, well, the reason I wanted to bring it up is because that's where the Sustainability Awareness Festival came from. Man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So Nelson's the founder, along with Auburn Hip Hop Congress, of the Sustainability Awareness Festival, which ran for a few years in Auburn, which taught a lot of different things about permaculture, which you were heavily involved in with the school, and then trying to just bridge the gap between the community and all these services and all these like bigger ideas, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so am I all good on the mic?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so basically with being inspired by the leadership of Rocky and Natalie with the Hip Hop Awareness Festival, I kind of want to bring some sustainability education to the whole hip hop scene, and get the youth involved with learning about composting, learning about growing their own food, learning about how our actions impact the environment, things like that, and how our environment kind of becomes us. We depend on everything around us for our resources, and just kind of like having the awareness of respecting our planet, and making sure that future generations especially have the ability to meet their needs. Some things that I learned with overpopulation and climate change and things like that, it kind of concerned me at a young age, and I kind of started tripping out on it, and definitely wanted to push that as much as I could. And hip hop, I've been inspired by like Dead Prez. They had like a green hip hop festival in Oakland, I think, back in the day. Grind for the Grain. Yeah. So, and then we also did like a environmental show with the mayor at the time, Kevin Johnson, and some high school kids in Sacramento, and that kind of gave me some feeling of empowerment to kind of feel like I could kind of use my skills and kind of inspire others to make changes in their lives, or just kind of be aware of their actions and things like that, and the impact that they have, positive and negative, Right. And so with the just not even like just watching Rocky and Natalie organize everything in the community and kind of like build from a grassroots level and see like a nice hip hop festival and having the whole community come out, which I've never seen at a young age, especially hip hop in Auburn, and that was a beautiful thing and really inspired me to be involved. And then going to the workshops definitely like enhanced that a lot, and it was all history from there, and then we did that for a few years, and then
So it's interesting how things evolve. We had the fairgrounds once a year for a while there in Auburn, and we were doing a hip hop awareness festival for a couple years, And that's part of what inspired, I believe, the idea of sustainability awareness, or what the vision would look like, but just adding a lot of knowledge and things skill building, but on a ground level where it's fun, like where kids actually get dig their hands into dirt and take away a piece of information that they'll keep with them forever, or organizations get a chance to share their message that really does benefit our planet, benefit our community in different ways. And it was beautiful to see that come together, because the Hip Hop Awareness Festival the following year became the Sustainability Awareness Festival. And we started flip-flopping every year from just hip-hop to hip-hop and sustainability, and a kind of a multi-genre approach. And then over about a 4-year period, it eventually became what we call some kind of Earth Day festival now. And it just incorporates a little bit of everything: art, music, all the different groups in the community that work with young people, sustainability, environment, and just a lot, the social aspect, and a lot of music, a lot of good music. So now we have some kind of Earth Day festival in April every year. And that's kind of a continuation of the Hip Hop Awareness Festival and the Sustainability Awareness Festival. And again, Nelson was the founder. That was a workshop that Nina taught a while back, where we said, what kind of event would you throw if you were to throw an event? And his idea was so compelling that we took that to the executive director of the fairgrounds and asked them what they were going to do with it.
And they ran with it, right?
And they ran with it. We've had some great events, and I think it's inspired a lot of people to really at least take interest or take notice, to causes and things that they've maybe only heard of through headlines and stuff, but actually understand how we can help with our footprint and things like that. Man, do you have any questions? Because I know there's so many different ways we can
I mean,
go.
I just really want to just try to hear from everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got a good amount of time. But
So I just want to introduce everybody in the room real quick too. We got ODAP, you guys already met. We got DJJ, Joseph Torres. We got Nelson, S-U-N. We got Natalie. We got Eddie Barraza, a.k.a. Raza. Austin, a.k.a. Vivid Conscience. And our extended family in the room. And I just want to kind of, anybody that feels like grabbing it at any point, to speak to some of what you've gotten to do through Hip Hop Congress, or what you've been able to.
Well, Joe kind of came. We kind of went in order, I think, of who came when. So Joe came on the later workshops of urban arts. So maybe we can kind of go like.
Well, Snaggle throw him?
Sure, man.
Yeah.
Can we get a verse from Nelson one?
OG's to do.
Yeah.
You got it.
We got to
All
make
right.
some music.
Yeah, I gotta make it work. This is a new one I've been working on. See if I got it. All right, check it out. Writer's block, yo, it seems I got nothing. Rewire my thoughts, no, I need to stop fronting. I want to plant a seed of discussion, cause these days don't know who to put trust in. Got fake news and alternative facts. Breakthroughs, never heard about that. Politicians wear many superlative hats to pay dues to your liberally conservative tax. No, thank you for the interpretive dance. I blame you for converting the masses with fake food dipped in preservative waxes, raised to commit all of these perverted acts. Before, it never even occurred to me that many have never seen or heard of this trap. It seems we've reached an affirmative max, and I prefer to relax and get out of this trance. But if we don't deter from this path, our world will collapse. Why defer the chance for our youth to advance? You can't keep balance with that on-the-fence stance.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fire.
Much love. Thank you.
Dope. Oh yeah.
Much love.
DJJ.
What up?
What's good, man?
Just a whole lot of talking about the group and everything. No big deal.
Let's get your story on
Oh man, where do we start? Okay, so the first time I ever heard of Auburn Hip Hop Congress, it was in my sophomore year of high school, and I was starting to get into making my own hip hop music at the time, just kind of writing and seeing how I felt about it. And so this opportunity came up at my high school at an event called Placerpalooza, because I went to Placer High School, so they had their own little festival that they put on. And so I decided I wanted to be a part of it. Well, lo and behold, my friend's sister was a part of the committee to put on the artists for the event. And so I got a slot through her, but I didn't have my own music made at the time, so I was doing I was doing like weird cover songs of like Eminem and like semi-appropriate Eminem, but you know, some other artists too. Can't really remember who they were. But that was my first, like, I guess you can say, show I ever did. And later on in the day, I heard some of these other kids going up on stage and rapping. I'm like, dude, there's guys rapping at my high school right now. What's going on? And so I took a look at them. I believe ODAPT was performing. At Ease, Expression, they were up there. That was dope. That was the first time I actually heard of them. And then my buddy of mine told me about the workshops that they did down over at our local park at ARD. And so that's where they held their urban arts program. So I went down there to check it out. I believe Pierre was leading it. And I was nervous going in because I like Auburn Hip Hop Congress sounded kind of intimidating to me in a way. And so I was like, I'm walking in the room with this mindset like, man, what if we walk in and they ask us to just straight up freestyle on the spot or something? And I'm just like, okay, well, be ready for anything. So my buddy and I walk in. We were welcomed with open arms, lots of friendly faces, told them who I was, told them what I was trying to do. So after the workshop, I connected with Rocky and Natalie and kind of just, you know, see where I could get my foot in the door with them. And so ever since then, you know, my first actual show I would consider was on the 4th of July. We were in this like small room with like 50 people, maybe tops. And it was like one of the hottest days of the year. And so I go up on stage and I'm like trying to like remember my lines, and I didn't have any instrumental or anything, so I was just gonna go straight a cappella with it. And so I ended up getting halfway through it, and then I ended up choking on my lines, and I couldn't remember the rest of the verse. And I was expecting to get booed off stage, but what ended up happening was I was getting a lot of love and support, people telling me to keep going. And that was like my first time actually like getting encouragement to keep going. Because like later on, fast forward a little bit, as I kept progressing with my music, you know, you're always going to have haters that'll tell you like you need to stop doing what you're doing. You suck. Like you need to just quit. You need to it got to a point to where I was being bullied in high school for it, and people were telling me to quit. They were telling me to kill myself. They were telling me to jump off a bridge. I even got people that were sending me emails of death threats. And I was just like, okay. All because I wanted to rap, man. All because I wanted to chase something I was passionate about. And nobody could respect it. And so I was just like, maybe I should. And like I sat there and thought about it for the longest time. And then I thought about those people that actually were supporting me and encouraging me to keep on going. And so
about every one of them cats that was in my
you know what I mean? And so you know, so I was just like, I'm just like, you know what? Just for the people that were helping me, you know, encourage me and keep helping me keep going, you know, I'm going to keep going just for them. You know, at first, you know, I did it for myself, and now I'm doing it for everybody else. And so, you know, speed forward now, you know, I've been involved in many workshops that were taught by many great teachers, J. Ross Pirelli, Pierre, Augustus the Elephant, who is known as Pharaoh now, I believe. Yeah, and many great teachers. I learned a lot of great things. What Auburn Hip Hop Congress really did was help me hone in on my skills, hone in on my strong set of what I was like really skilled in. And, you know, I learned a lot of new skills as well, you know, like promoting myself online. Like you see me online, I'm like sharing my songs. I'm sharing other people's songs. I've shared your material before, you know. I showed love to you. I showed love to everybody, you know. I just want, like, people treat this music thing as a competition, and I believe, you know, it's not a competition. I want us to like build and connect and help one another, you know what I mean? So
I mean, it is a competitive
it gets really competitive here and there, you know.
right.
You know, you can't escape the competitive aspect of it, but I just want us to, you know, help each other. I want us to connect and build. And so through Rocky and Natalie, I've gotten to speak at assemblies to talk about my experience with getting bullied and all that. I've shared my own songs about it. And I got a song with Dirk Dig. Dirk Dig on my album called My Life, My Story. It's a song called Both Sides, where I talk about my story of getting bullied, and he flipped it and told his story about how he was the bully. So we kind of gave
That's
both.
a beautiful thing right there.
Yeah, we gave both perspectives of it, and I feel like that song really needed to happen because when I first met Dirk Dig, it was with you at this show that was being put on by On the Bus Productions, OTV. Dude, that was so much fun. Yeah, the first time I met him, he heard the song I did about me getting bullied, and he told me when I first met him how he was always bullying people in school and whatnot. I don't know if he still does it now as an adult, but you know. Shout out to Dirk Dig, man. Much love. And so, you know, I've gotten to go to assemblies, and, you know, I've actually gotten to spread a message of hope to these kids that really feel hopeless. You know, and I've gotten to share some emotional stories. I've recorded a lot of emotional songs, but, you know, Auburn Hip Hop Congress really helped me take this from a craft that I started in my bedroom to the stage. And so I can't be thankful enough for them for that. You know, I show love to Natalie and Rocky damn near every time I see them. You know, that's the least I can do. You know.
Hey, Joe, who produced your last album?
Who produced my last album? It was me. I produced my last album. I produced my EP. And all that was pretty much through all the workshops we had. We had production workshops. I had a whole bunch of teachers that I talked to, you know, helping me learn like what kind of equipment I really needed to get my own little setup going. Now I have my own little setup in my bedroom where I can just produce and record pretty much whenever I feel. And that's that.
So what's the name of your most recent album?
My most recent album I just released at the end of March is called My Life, My Story. I share a lot of personal information about myself and a lot of the things that I've been through on there. You can find it everywhere online via iTunes, Google Play, Amazon. It's on SoundCloud and Bandcamp and YouTube as well. I'm everywhere. Oh, man. Okay. I will definitely share something. Got something new I've been working on. I'm going to share a verse from there because it's still fresh in my mind. It really bothers me seeing our youth falling apart. I was like them once, walking with a broken heart, feeling mentally ill with a sadness that can kill. And when you go to a therapist, they just prescribe you a pill. And you wonder why kids are addicted at an early age. It's not the only problem, but it's a part of the war we wage. Mental illness and addiction causing so much friction. I'm lending a helping hand. Healing the youth is my mission. I always tell my story with hopes that you can relate. I've had my share of battles, but now I'm trying to be great. You can do it too. I have confidence in you. Golden rule, never give up, man. It's something you never do. I've been angry and depressed. I've had anxiety from being stressed. But now if you ask how I am, I'll say I'm at my best. Now I'll show love to you if you show love to me. Let's unite and help one another. That's the meaning of community.
Yeah.
All right. So I'd like to touch on a topic that definitely probably a sensitive topic, but talk about Sheldon a little bit and his role in the whole movement and anything else that you'd like to say about it.
Man, with Sheldon, he defined what Auburn Hip Hop Congress was about in my mind. Anything that we needed community service at, such as a 49er flea market, he was there. Volunteering at a show, he was there. You know, he really showed love and support to everybody. He was always front and center for every artist that was on stage at our shows. Didn't matter who it was. It didn't matter if he knew him or not. You know, he was always there in the front row showing support for every single person. He was always at every single workshop that we did. He played a huge role. He had a huge impact on this group. And when he passed away, everybody was devastated. Literally everybody was devastated. It really hit us hard. It set us back a tad bit. You know, because that was really our first major loss within our group. And plus, with a lot of us, it was our first major loss when it came to losing a friend or a family member, you know what I mean? And he was family to this group. Hardcore. And, you know, when he...
spent Christmas together.
We spent
holidays
together.
together.
He was really a part of everything we did, you know, whether if it was, you know, Auburn Hip Hop Congress related or not, he was there all the time.
Shout out to Sheldon.
Shout out to Sheldon. Shout out to his mom, Darlene. She is the strongest woman I know by far.
That's Mama right there.
That's Mama Bear.
HHC Mama.
We love you, Darlene.
I just could say a few more words, if I can get them out. It's Sheldon had an impact on our group that I think will be a part of the glue that holds us together for the rest of time. He helped cement some of the things that Joseph was talking about, and that's just what our group is about, how we support one another, how we support the people we bring in, how we how we support the scene, and beyond that, how we support each other on a deep emotional level, because he was a good dude that really he understood pain, and anytime anyone was in pain, that was the guy that reached out. That was the guy that had the words to to bring you back a little bit. And me and him had some of the best talks that I can remember. Before I get choked up, I'll pass the mic on a little bit. Anybody else? A few words for Sheldon?
I think one of my favorite memories of Sheldon was that, he was kind of like the spirit of Hip Hop Congress. No matter what the show was or what we were doing, he's like, I'm down, I'm there. Even if it's like a year out, he's like, doesn't have a car. I don't have a ride, but I'm there. I don't have a ride, he'll find a way. And that's what I really loved about him, is that he was always down, and that really inspired us to really always be down for everybody else and really support and kind of like help each other and always support in any way, even if it's like outside of music, outside of events, like, we're going through some depression or we have some issues in our life. He's there to like be, always be there, and he's still here, he's still here, but
He's right next to me.
Yeah, for real, he is, but yeah, so.
Can I say one thing?
That's one thing.
Where are you going? Go ahead.
Oh, maybe. He really does. I mean, I'm going to say the same thing you guys said, but exemplify what Hip Hop Congress was and the family and the love of it. I mean, he was at our house during Christmas time, and I think he kind of really inspired that we would invite everyone over and we would come together, and he always wanted us to do barbecues, and he really, he left such, we already had a family feel, but he left such a family feel. I know when he passed, a lot, we all came together like immediately, come over, let's cry together, let's remember Sheldon together. So it really solidified and continued that family feel. And I mean, to this day, like, me and Rocky just got married, and a lot of these guys were these guys were our groomsmen, like, and,
groomsmen in the room.
So yeah, Sheldon, we love you, and I think that's
continuing the legacy. Keep doing what you all do, right?
Yeah.
What did he love? He supported us to the fullest.
So every day nowadays when I have a show, I always think about Sheldon before I do it. Every time I have a performance, I think of how supportive he was and how well he'd want me to do, how much he'd want me to crush it, and that always gives me some inspiration. But Sheldon was also a realist. He was the most supportive cat, but he would tell you when your shit was whack. Like, that's the truth. And it's funny. Like, I remember we did an event. We were volunteering at the flea market, and I had a notebook and I was writing. I had some rhymes. I looked out on the table to get a hot dog, and I came back and Sheldon's reading my stuff. He's like, "What is this?" And I was like, "That's some of my raps." And he was like, "Dude, that shit is whack." And there was some battle raps, and I was like, and we started just joking around, talking trash back and forth. And he swore he was gonna write his own notebook full of battle raps, and he was gonna battle me one day.
Wow, that was his goal. You guys
Yeah.
We're gonna spar. It almost happened.
Exactly. It almost happened. Yeah, definitely. But and I respect his realism, or the fact that he would just tell you straight up how it was. It wasn't fake support is what I'm trying to say. He would support when he really supported and he thought it was good. But if it wasn't good, he would still support you, but he wouldn't support that. You know what I mean? But I have so much respect for him in that sense. But he's always in my heart.
Fly high, Sheldon.
Yeah,
Love you.
fly high.
I got one more thing to say. When it came to Sheldon passing, I honestly believe it really taught all of us that you really shouldn't take the words "I love you" for granted. What I mean by that is like when you tell your mom you love her, you want to say it with the utmost like sincerity and say it in the most real way possible. Even if you're telling your friend you love him, you want to say it in the most real way possible, because you may never know, that may be the last time you say those 3 words to that individual. You know, you gotta really. It really helped us realize that, you know, I love everybody in this room. I'll say it right now. Everybody in this room, I love you. Even the guys I just met, man, love you guys. You know, I love everybody, and, you know, he really taught me to express love and gratitude for the people that I have in my life, and I'm sure everybody can agree with that.
Yeah, that's our family, and you know, because of it, everyone that was Sheldon's family is also our family. You know,
That's right.
We've had memorial barbecues. We've gotten together for things, and you know, it's like it was a new glue. You know, there's as strong of a bond, like we've been family since we can remember back. You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing. We love you, Darlene. We love you, Stephanie. The whole family, Ricky. You know. And I just want to point out one more thing too. I remember seeing the picture with you at the beach. Man, he was so happy,
so stoked.
Dude, he was so stoked to be out there with the boys. Yeah. I just remember, because, you know, we get out of Auburn a little bit, but it was usually together, you know what I mean? And we always had a little bit of an eye on Sheldon because he was a youngster in our group. Mm-hmm. But I remember when he broke away and he rolled out with you guys in Santa Cruz Cypher Sessions to that River Cypher, man. That's all he talked about from that day forward. Like,
that was a really fun memory.
You know, and,
something about a mansion party?
And a mansion party, you know, like, that's where I like to picture Sheldon, you know what I mean? At those mansion parties on the river. Barbecuing with the fam.
No doubt. Let's talk to Raza and
get them on the mic. Get him on the mic.
We got music?
What?
Oh, we got music? Yeah. Oh shit, son. Well, being that y'all have been so patient and tuned in and let my people just sit here and then talk to you, I feel like it's only right that I give y'all a little bit of music.
What order am I pulling up?
Let's see what we doing here. Let's tap into. It's something between like 6 and 14. That's all their stuff.
What folder though? What folder
it's episode 40, I believe.
40. Yep.
Hey, we never got to say this, but shout out to Hennessy for having us out today.
Thank you.
So appreciate it.
Thank y'all for coming, man.
If you guys didn't know, Hennessy was a Hip Hop and Congress ambassador with us in Auburn. Still is, you know, but he's been around since, you know, 09, maybe 10. But since the beginning of our shows, the beginning of our movement, you know, been a supporter and a big part of the team in different ways. And
I respect the hell out of what y'all do.
Watching you branch out the ways that you have, man, it's inspiring.
Well, thank you. Y'all, I mean, believe it or not, like, you know, seeing what y'all do is part of the reason why you see me here today. Like, that inspired, in a way, inspired this. You know what I'm saying? See what y'all do for your community. I'm able to do something for mine. You know what I'm saying? So,
40 was T Nutty, man. Episode 40 was like T Nutty.
Let's say AAHC on it. Hey, you're pulling up all kind of files and shit that wasn't even on air no more. That shit was like hidden or something.
Yeah, this is what popped up.
Borrow your computer.
Yeah, this is what popped up.
It should say AAHC on there. Top Shelf Radio. I'm telling you, that your computer is showing you files that my computer was not
on here. Yeah.
What's going on?
This is the flash drive. Bam, USB.
No. Hey, it's a beautiful thing. We're gonna talk about that afterwards. Let's go get this.
Time some music. Oh, AHC. Here you go. 49. All right, we good. You said 14 through 16. Raza.
Oh, let's play. What y'all want to play?
Oh, snap. How many songs are there?
There's a lot.
Yes. I got 2 old ass songs, but no quality.
Random pick it.
Yeah. Random. I don't care.
Matter of fact, how about to introduce them? Do you guys want to do a song or have a song play first from one of you guys?
Sure. Okay, I'm down.
Do you got the name, or does it matter?
Let's play Thesis. That one's shorter.
Thesis?
Yeah, it's a shorter song, so we can get to everybody and make sure, you know.
Is that both you guys?
No, it's just me. But
all right, so you know we've been without
seconds. We'll be good
the
to
entire
go.
show, but it's also given the Hip Hop Congress
yeah, there was a lot to say, so I think it went cool.
To really get to a lot of what they do, and they ain't even broke it all down. It's a whole lot more stuff.
So much.
You know what I'm saying? We could be here for like 5-6 hours talking about it. We're not going to. We're gonna go ahead and play some of this music for y'all, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk to Raza. get the scoop on what his contribution is to the Auburn Hip Hop Congress. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all, all three of y'all. All three of y'all. I appreciate y'all.
Much love, y'all. Yeah.
Oh, is that live?
We live, man.
It's so live.
Hella live.
Through. This reminds me of being at church.
Man, there's so many different directions. I feel like it's hard to know which way to go. So many programs to
Did
talk about.
Eddie reach out?
Yeah, he just texted me like 5 minutes ago. It was swoosh. The whole time we were trying to figure out, it was swoosh. I was like, unbelievable.
What's the brand?
Is that Nike?
I don't know.
Just got the shit on the side of your shoe?
Yeah, I guess.
I got a swoosh, but I didn't know about the name of the shoe was swoosh. Damn it. Been in here guessing.
That's a good password though, right?
Yep.
It's easy.
Because we was not figuring it out.
Totally down.
Hey, just to give a little intro to Raza, everything's still
Yes,
live?
please.
We live.
You'd like to give an intro of yourself, man? Just so people know, we've known about Raza for a while. He's been making music and making moves and inspiring, young people in our community for a while now. But it wasn't until like last year that we recently really connected, and we started building tough. And man, it's been an honor, and seeing what this guy's done with both his story, his music, and the dedication he has to making this a reality. It's reignited some of the motivation in our programs, and likewise with Austin as well. It's kind of like both of them working tough together has kind of brought some new light, brought some new fire to the artist development program, and more importantly than that, just the fact that these guys are all getting together and actually doing stuff like artists are supposed to do to get shit done. It's a beautiful thing to watch, and I look forward to hearing what Eddie has to say. Honestly, Eddie, if you don't mind, it would be nice to, even in summary, just a slight background.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make it quick. I know we're tight on time right now, and I want to make sure everybody.
We got 30 extra minutes.
All right, for sure. All right. So, I come from a adoptive background, and then my parents, biological, were both in and out of prison. I'm talking drugs and gang life, a lot of that in Sacramento, and so I was put up for adoption, basically into an adoptive home, and that was really abusive after foster homes, and so I was stuck in there for like 11 years, and then I ran away at age 15 and got myself emancipated, so I was legally an adult. And then after that, I really started getting involved in music and playing the piano, producing and stuff like that. And I was pretty shy back then. I knew about the Auburn Hip Hop Congress because I was in Auburn by then. But I was pretty shy and didn't want to reach out. And so I started just writing rhymes and producing and looking up YouTube videos of all that. And I got doing that thing. And, I want my music to stand for something true and real. And that's what I liked about them. So, in like the past couple years, maybe a year, I really connected with Natalie and Rocky and all the dudes out here. I knew about some of them in Auburn because, I see videos and their views are popping up and you're like, okay, who are these guys? And, I have a lot of respect for the OGs and the real people who started this. And I like taking everything I learned from them because it's nothing but knowledge and wisdom. And it's very humbling to learn about the real culture of hip-hop. Before I came into this, somebody could have asked me who the first rapper was, and I know nothing. And I think that's one thing that Rocky told me is how important it is to know the culture of it, what it actually stood for when it started, and, how it's changed over time. And I can't stress how important that is to for older people to look down on a younger rapper coming up who's not just mumble rapping or he's not just covered in auto-tune, but to actually get respect from older people is...
We don't play here on Top Shot. Not allowed.
Just so you know. And I'm just saying, it's really humbling to get some props from people, and I think that's what it should be, is you should have that respect for people who are older and who have knowledge and who have been in this and have so much stuff to teach. And then I've seen some great workshops by J. Ross, Odapt, DJ Lady Shar, a lot of good stuff. I mean, I'm more new to this, but I take everything to heart and very seriously with what I learn. I'm like full-time student at Full Sail and production, and I mean that's pretty much it. I don't want to go on for too long, but
let's get some music playing, man.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll, man. Spin that thing.
Thesis means a statement or theory that is put forward as a premise to be maintained or proved.
In case you didn't know, Raza. Yeah. I spit from my life and I was born for it. If you thinking I ain't doing right, go and get it. I know you like this flow the way you into it. Rappers talking foreigns, I can't even afford a whip. I'm just trying to make it out the bottom, going through the seasons. Only way I got here was me believing. I got the devil deceiving, God relieving. People in the way back, leaving me barely breathing. But I tell it how it is. Real life, real music, use it. It's a motto with a biz, chase truth, live love, be light. That's the motto of my life, and the reason why I ride, I call that purpose, ambition. I'm a man on a mission, don't be mad, cause I'm getting outside of this ticking time bomb. Listen, I'm fitting and never stop when I get up on my track, and I let my rhythm rock, just fitting every syllable in the right spot. MCs these days rhyme without a plot. Oh, you got hella Skrilla? And a record deal? Well, I can't be bought, and if you tryna stop us, we can't be caught. My whole team tighter than a bow line knot. On the hustle, we get it, we go, you not. And best believe we dream while you sleep. Lyrically an artist, that's where my thoughts flow deep. Came from the back roads, all the trouble I seen. Lord knows, still finding out where I come from. Pushing on through every dark episode, but my energy is about to explode. Cause I seen too many tears cried, too many lonely nights in death, suicide, too many memories that left me traumatized. Too many people saying you almost smart enough to qualify. People stuck up in yourself seeking pride. Lies that make every bit of trust bust into pieces. To all who left, I'm now motivated, right? And that's the thesis.
Word up.
Good stuff, Ron.
Yeah, thank you. I produced that in my bedroom.
Written, mixed, mastered, and engineered by
Yep,
Raza.
that's right. Yep. Still learning. It's great to be here tonight. Much respect. Blessed.
Nothing but love.
You guys will be seeing Raza a lot. One thing I haven't done is shout outs, I know that you guys are looking for shows right now.
Yep.
Raza's in the market of 21 and up. We got Vivid Conscience, all the all age shows. We got DJJ, ODEPT. You guys are booking. Hit up Auburn Hip Hop Congress, man.
Yeah.
These guys are hungry and they're ready.
Yep.
Let's start from scratch.
For sure.
Huh? Usually my camera crew is here and they got like a little buffet platter out there in the kitchen.
I'm like me right now.
I'm hating it right now too. I'm a little famished myself.
You had us on the wrong day.
How you gonna do us like that?
They supposed to be here right now. They got family issues they working out. My way.
It's all good. It's all love.
Before we get to him,
Say that there.
you mind if I spit acapella too?
Yeah,
All right, sweet. Cause this one's new and I wanted to share it tonight. So, I'm finding when I'm grinding, I be losing sight of time. I got music in my DNA, you know it's intertwined. Society is like a bad spine, needs to be realigned, borderline, ending all of humanity. But we concerned about the borderlines, it's insanity. Wars overseas is something we oversee. Please wake up to reality. We gotta find the keys before we become free. The system just made a bunch of tricks. Yeah, that's why they call this thing the Matrix. I'm coming in with heat like a fastball pitcher. You need to focus right if you want to see the picture. Your glass half empty, I got a whole picture. Love your neighbor as yourself, that's from the good scripture. This ain't a funny trick, this my mind's dialogue. I lost my religion, but I really found God. I'm jumping over evil like I'm playing leapfrog. Supersonic on this track, cause I'm running like the hedgehog. Why do you buy into the lies they supply? Cause I'd like to see us unify like the fire in the sky on the 4th of July. Identify the fakes and take the other side. I like all shapes and colors like a tie-dye. Don't be tripping like your shoes are untied. If you're searching for the guide, well, search for the truth. Cause the spirit is inside since before your young youth.
Very nice.
Hi.
Good stuff.
Sweet, sweet. I think vivid conscience.
Or
You want to switch spots?
Yeah,
Might be
might be
better.
easier that way.
Bro. Yeah, thank you, bro.
Tricky. So, my name is Austin Mullen. I go by the artist name of Vivid Conscience. I guess I'll just start from when I first met and encountered Rocky and Natalie in the Congress. It started, without a, biological father figure in my life. Stepdad, mother were there, great support system there, but, lived in Nevada for a period of time, and with my biological father, it didn't work out, abusive relationship there. Moved back really with a lack of guidance in my life, and before I had moved back to California, it was just my introduction to writing and poetry and really self-expression through my experiences and all that I've endured through my life, and I didn't really have a place to express that outside of my notebook. So it was more so like I had so much to express, so much that I was feeling, so much pain, so many experiences that were just right here, and it wasn't really expressed to the point where someone could be like, hey, this isn't what a father figure looks like, this isn't what guidance looks like. And so I had that discussion with my mom and stepfather, and Rocky and Natalie were that first form of guidance through the expression of hip-hop and music. That was my first opportunity to share anything I've ever written, and I remember the first time I met them was at a writing class back in 2015, I think it was, and it was just very welcome, open arms. I could tell they cared. They were passionate about what they were doing, and it was really my first sense of community. In a town where I didn't really associate with friends outside of school. Going to school, I didn't have that sense of community as broad as it was within the Congress. So I think that was really eye-opening in terms of community and just developing that, and as a whole, as a unified people, that was very beneficial, and I thank you all for that. They gave me my first show at some kind of Earth Day Festival 2015. I was actually not supposed to perform at that because I was booked for the show, and my mom said no. She called me one day on my lunch break and said, no, sorry, you can't do it, your grades aren't where they need to be. My mom's listening right now. I don't think she ever really knew that I ended up playing a piece there. But it was actually it was actually J. Ross Pirelli who had let me get like a song with the Element Brass Band on her set. So that was my first time really on stage expressing outside of my notebook. So that was really cool. And it was really just been guidance, and yeah, that's my experience with the Congress. Seeing how they touch on a lot of topics in communities that surface level aren't necessarily comfortable to talk about. Drug abuse, addiction, mental illness, broken homes, broken families. I think that they've really dug deeper than just scratching the surface in that conversation in our community, and I think it's huge. I think a lot of change that they have brought to the community has been long overdue and long necessary in Auburn, and I respect them for that, and I thank you for that. I think that's about it. I've been with them for about 2 years, and they've blessed me. It's been nothing but a blessed experience to be a part of this.
So, Austin, you were like 16 when you got involved, right?
Yeah.
16?
Yep. 16.
How old are you
18.
When he came to his first workshop, you brought a dictionary, didn't you?
Yeah. I forgot
I ain't playing though, man. He's a further ahead than a lot of cats will ever do.
Yeah. Real.
When I met Austin, he was studying the dictionary.
He was.
And I mean, like getting the raps that were coming out at the time, as unrefined as they were yet, they were so dope with lyricism and vocabulary. Yeah. And I remember some of those early conversations, and I'm just I want to acknowledge the amount of emotion you've added and that you've built into your music now, the amount of real life experience and stuff like that, because that was the only thing that was missing before. You know what I mean? You have that raw lyricism, you have the vocabulary, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Adding the passion and the emotion and really everything you spoke to just now, it describes
you know, who you are and where your focus is right now. And
Thank you.
just appreciate all that's going into both your craft and what you give back to the world too.
Thank you. I think
Did
a
you
lot.
ever spit some shit that had you go look at the dictionary and be like, what the fuck is
Well, little do people know, I also studied the dictionary.
So I think a lot of that transitioning from just like sheer lyrical ability to actually like touching on topics that were felt by, when I was sharing my pieces, that just came from growing as a person. I think a lot of that pain that I was feeling at the time was just being suppressed, and although it was in my notebook, it wasn't necessarily, how would I say, like receivable in a way that was felt as heavy as it was intended to be felt.
No.
And I think that just came with, you know, growing as a person. And they definitely were that platform to grow within. So I appreciate that.
I'd like to play some more music. We've been talking for a while. I'd like to. I mean, how much longer do we have? Are we?
We're 9, but let's go another 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay.
So if
let's do it. Let's play something.
No, but can we play something else? Let me see. Oh, I know we have to talk about the event on Saturday.
Oh.
Wow. We can briefly touch on that. Yeah. I just seen JD join the feed just now. So we definitely need to speak on that. Just briefly though.
All right. Well, I'll take the reins on this. So I don't know how much of the story I want to share, but if you come out to the event on Saturday, you'll be able to hear a little bit more. But a good friend of ours had a family member that they lost due to some really, really sad and unfortunate situations after childbirth. And she wasn't able to get the help she needed in time with all the help that her family and everybody in the community was trying to give. Nobody could make anything happen. And unfortunately, they lost her. We lost her. And she left a beautiful baby behind. And the event on Saturday is pretty much about, I know the Higher Powered Fellowship Motorcycle Club. They're hosting it. Their founder Andy, it was a relative of his. So, they asked us to come out when we mentioned that we would support anything that helped the cause. You know what I mean? So we're happy to be coming out on Saturday to support. It's a fundraiser. It's a motorcycle run, a poker run, and more details are online. It's called Summer's Warrior Poker Run. You can find it on Facebook. If you want more details, reach out to one of us. Auburn Hip Hop Congress will be performing at 11 to 12. Hennessy is going to be on from 12 to 1. And then they got a lot of good bands and other groups performing after that. But everything goes to a good cause. It all goes to the child that was left behind, so that they can have a good future and a good present right now, and that they can have the support and the help that they need, and that they can get through this time. So I encourage everybody to come out. It's at Resurrection Barbershop in Sacramento. I'll try to get the address before the end of the show.
Google that. Resurrection. It sounds like it's spelled like it sounds. Look it up. You know what I mean? I'll post it on the Top Shelf Radio page and in the group page, the flyer, just so you have more information. But it's definitely a dope event. Y'all should definitely come out and show some support. We only got a little bit of time. I want to play some music. We're going to play some music. Preference?
Do you have a music?
Flyby?
That's a good track.
Yeah, I like that track. Of course, it's stuck in my head right now.
I'll get everything queued up. Alright, we're going into Fly Pie, you said?
Yes.
Yep. Alright, y'all.
Be conscious for y'all.
I got this purpose in my poem. I can use it, I can lose it, I can prove that you were wrong. Express the excess, I'm amped like espresso. I am still blessed even when life is stressful. Manifest my destiny, this is my manifesto. I've been holding on too long, think it's time that I let go. Shine like a beacon every time that I'm speaking. Stay illuminated, I'm praying. Sick of the way we living with the weight upon the mind. You can hate me, either way I'll stay up on the grind, cause you ain't me. And I ain't you. I'ma find myself when I find that truth. Ain't no mystery the way we've been losing ourselves. If you lost your soul, gotta find those clues. Choice to be made when I'm proving myself. Ain't no doubt there's a lot to do, but there's time to do it. I know my mind's improving. Life is a blessing. I don't wanna lose it. I don't wanna be depressed. I don't wanna stress. I just wanna stay alive while I'm passing the test that was given. While my soul's risen. If you get up in the way, you'll get caught up in the vision. Gotta bring myself back from the collision. So even when I fall, I'ma keep living.
Thank you.
Good stuff. I would like to play. Give me how much time I got, Russ.
Let's go till 9:10. We got another like 7 minutes.
Cause you know we started at 7:30, right?
Yeah,
you go. Let's go out there.
Let's do it. Let's run it.
I actually have 2 songs that something I started doing, and I want to continue this.
Yes,
so
definitely.
this is something that I need to do before my show is over.
Yes.
We're doing something where giving artists an opportunity to get a song played multiple times. I've been a firm believer of not playing the same thing over and over again because I don't want to sound like no 102, 103. No disrespect, y'all. That's just how I prefer to run my show. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So this is something I've been doing to where I guess it's like a bump it or dump it kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? I got 2 songs. We're gonna listen to both songs. Y'all gonna tell me which song y'all feel more, and whatever song that is, we're gonna play it next week, and we're gonna have another song to play next. So we're gonna go ahead and start that off. We're gonna start with Zelly, because Zelly is the one who won 2 weeks ago when we started it off. You know what I mean? So Zelly featuring Technician. The song is called "Stay in Your Lane." Y'all go ahead and vibe out to that real quick, and y'all let me know what y'all think.
And we are going in.
Day one, Sunday doses. A nigga really tryna cut us all this bullshit. I ain't got no time for the lane. Bitch ass nigga, get the fuck out my face. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Nigga, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Nigga, stay in your lane.
Tired of the system, tired of the trial dates. Tired of snitches, so many reasons I don't allow fakes. Talk about the trap, but he broke like he don't allow cake. The trap booming, packs moving, now hate. The loudest niggas be scared, the hardest be antisocial. Sometimes I pray to see digits longer than on a social. Practice what you preach, you better get a hold of your vocals. I had it hard as a youngin', did it all on the lonesome. There's new faces in the streets, so it's hard to count. Fake niggas, they talk greasy, we point them out. Jailhouse politics, back I ain't had to pop the piss. How you poppin' shit with no record? These niggas talking shit. Day ones to the day done, niggas say something. Send some, tell her send some so we can spend some. Every day's harvest, eat with who you done starved with. Hating on us, we leaving these niggas nauseous.
Day one, Sunday doses. A nigga really tryna cut us all this bullshit. I ain't got no time for the lane. Bitch ass nigga, get the fuck out my face. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Nigga, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Nigga, stay in your lane.
These niggas talking money, wanna brag and boast. The shiny gold teeth and the chains, but drive a bitch focus. Screaming fuck the rollers, but they never hold us. I was just a baby going dumb up in my mama's stroller. 40 cal wake 'em just like you drinking Folgers. Early morning knocking, we poppin' just like we with Jehovah. Cause these little niggas tilted off the robo. He claimed that he a killer, how we murkin' moving slow-mo. My niggas loco, and had your bitch up in the toco. Fuck the popo, I'm too hot, I got the mojo. Bounce around the town, bustin' knocks on the low-low. She bouncing on the dick just like she bouncing on the pogo. Oh no, I catch it deep, I'm going deep like I'm Moto. Stunting all on the scene like a nigga tryna sopo, ayy. And forever we gon' turn it up, stacking in the field, them dollars we gotta earn it up.
Day one, Sunday doses. A nigga really tryna cut us all this bullshit. I ain't got no time for the lane. Bitch ass nigga, get the fuck out my face. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Nigga, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Nigga.
Technician, the song is called "Stay in Your Lane." Hope y'all enjoyed that. We're gonna now slap this other song by my homeboy Lazy Lokes. It's called 4 a.m. Y'all tune in and let me know what y'all think.
I said it's 4 in the morning, yeah, and we still talking on the phone. It's 4 in the morning, yeah, and ever since you left I've been alone. I'm talking to the snowpad, And no, I'm jotting down my feelings. I'm talking to this notepad, yeah. And no, I'm jotting down my feelings. I remember the first like it was yesterday. The first time we talked, the first time we made love to each other and hoped and prayed that it would last forever. But I was blind, let's say. I thought it was perfect and nothing was wrong. But you had these intentions of doing me wrong. Writing this song just to tell you I hate you, love you so much. But why did I date you? I told you all my secrets. Should I let you meet my family? I know I wasn't perfect, but I know I had a plan. I wanna make you my wife and spend all our days loving. But all alone you was trife and everybody else was cuffing. So now I'm talking to my cousin. Conversations over bottle. All this liquor got me twisted. I'm talking hour after hour. I can't stop thinking about you, but at the same time I'm glad I found out all the shit. Cause I can tell you goddamn I'm a better man and I'm about to make it. Try to break my faith, but you could never shake it. Throw me off, but you could never quake. I'm too strong, I know you smile fake. You ain't happy with your new life. I know that's the truth. You ain't happy, girl, get right. Shit, could've been me. It's 4 in the morning, yeah. And we still talking on the phone. It's 4 in the morning, yeah. And ever since you left, I've been alone. I'm talking to this notepad. And no, I'm jotting down my feelings. I'm talking to this notepad, yeah. And no, I'm jotting down my feelings.
Alright.
Yeah.
There it is. Lazy Loaf, 4 a.m. Young Zelly, technician, stay in your lane. I'm gonna go ahead and ask y'all tuned in online right now how y'all feel about it before I ask the people in the building. But I don't know. I don't know how responsive y'all gonna be, so we might have to ask the people in the building. But 2 songs we got paired up against each other. We want to know which one y'all feeling more. That's gonna go on to get played next week. Y'all let me know how you feel. We gonna talk to the people in the building.
Oh.
How you feel?
Oh man. I'm gonna stay in your lane.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got a message that can't be ignored.
Right. Hold on, so it's a competition.
Yeah.
You get to bump one, you get to dump the other.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
We ain't gonna say we dumping the other.
Yeah, that's
because we support all of that.
Okay,
You know
all
what
right,
I
all
mean?
right.
We just not playing it.
We made it to the final cut.
I mean, I love a smooth track, and I gotta go with that second one, man.
Okay.
I can see myself bumping that for sure.
There's another one for 4 a.m. We got a 4 a.m.
Stay
right
in your
here.
lane.
Actually, I'm gonna need the bootleg.
Forward that to the email. I ain't gonna be able to do it.
What are you thinking?
Man.
Joe, how you feeling?
Shoot. 4 a.m. was a good track. It was really smooth. I enjoy a good, smooth love song with a good vibe. But I definitely have to go with Stay in Your Lane. I definitely have to go with Stay in Your Lane.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm on.
That's what
Man, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
You was over here
It's both
singing,
different.
staying.
You already know I'm saying.
There it
I try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, you know.
Natalie.
Stay in your lane.
I think I'm gonna stay in your lane.
I think it might be kind of universal.
Yep.
Feel
I
the
like
same
them
way?
both, but like, man.
I'm gonna need a recount.
Definitely liked them both.
I really do.
That's feel the same way?
Yeah, you know I feel not stay in your lane. I was like, not too
No, that's
Shout
right.
out to Zelly, man. Shout out to my brother Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It's dope.
We
Yeah.
gonna come back next week. We're gonna try. We're gonna put another. We probably gonna put like a little, more up tempo song next to the stage.
Yeah, try to
just
beat
to
it.
give it the
Try to
same
make it
vibe,
even.
But shout out to Zelly and Technician, man. We appreciate you sending the music in. The song being played next week again. You know what I'm saying? Keep sending that dope stuff to my email. Yeah, I think we got out of time. I wanna say thank you to all of y'all.
Thank you.
In the building, you know what I'm saying?
Top Shelf Radio.
Thank you.
Much
Thank you.
love to the
Hennessy.
Auburn Hip Hop Congress.
Support Top Shelf Radio.
Right.
Do it.
Even though I don't support nobody else, I just support my own.
Hey, big up, y'all. Hey,
That's the word.
also, www.auburnhiphopcongress.strikingly.com.
What is that word?
Is that a dictionary?
Look us up, Auburn Hip Hop
Strikingly?
Congress. Yeah, it's a website. We're in between websites
Okay.
right now.
Domains.
But there's a ton of information and contact and everything on there if you want to find us. Otherwise, I'd have to give you each of our names and contact. But www.auburnhiphopcongress.strikingly.com. That's STRIKINGLY.
There it is. Or you can just Google Auburn Hip Hop Congress.
Find us on Facebook.
Look up on Facebook.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
Carrying in.
Much love.
This has been our story. This is the
Much
first time we've ever got to go on air and really tell our story. So big up to Hen. Big
all
up
good.
Top Shelf Radio, 360 Radio.
No, but love, don't let this be the last time y'all connect with these people right here. I'm telling you, they do a whole lot of positive things for the community. Like I said, y'all only heard a piece of it, so definitely connect with them and all these talented artists that they've got under their umbrella. Shout out to Mike Jordan for coming through. You know?
Yeah.
Much love to him. That's the homie right there. Next week we come back and we got another show. I was about to tell you who it's gonna be, but I really don't know off the top of my head. So it's gonna be dope. I tell you that, and we gonna have music.
Yes, for sure.
Hello.
Yeah.
So
We
it's
gonna
gonna be
go
dope.
next week.
Shout out to everybody that tunes in with me. Shout out to the ones of y'all that was in here tuned in when it wasn't no music playing. They was just in here giving their testimony, man. Y'all dope for that, you know what I'm saying? Much appreciated. Shout out to everybody else on the network. Shout out to DJ Russ, man, for everything, man. Thank you for
Sorry, I
having me.
don't have the mix this week. Next week I got
It's
you.
all good. Blame Eddie. Eddie.
Blame Vegas.
We gonna talk. We gonna get time in Vegas. When you come back, we gonna have a conversation. But yeah, much love to y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in with me. Make sure y'all tune in next Tuesday, every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. I love y'all. Have a good night.
Peace. Damn.
Yeah.